Thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you today on a topic that's near and dear to my heart, HR analytics. So I have recently discovered a few new tools that I believe can help learning and development find opportunities to save money and increase employee engagement while decreasing the absenteeism and employee separations. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, let's go ahead and dive in. So I have a few goals for our robust session here this morning. So today, I really want to look at the areas of opportunity for learning and development, truly discover how we as a department can utilize available in-house data and HR analytics. Additionally, I will provide you both with my workplace flexibility recommendations. And finally, I'll finish the presentation with my projected cost savings to the department. So let's go ahead and talk data. So through the use of PeopleSoft or MyHR, our organization captures a plethora of data. Up until recently, much of this data has sat unused. So that is, when I say that, that means that it was there, but we didn't necessarily know what it meant or what we could do with it. With the help of a phenomenal book, Investing in People, which you'll see here on the screen, I've discovered additional uses for the data that we have. I have taken the liberty of using the data from the MyHR portal to understand about two of our pain points here in learning and development: absenteeism and employee separations. So with the help of the calculators on the SHRM site, we can analyze the data that we have and understand just how much employee separations and absenteeism cost learning and development. So just as a side note, all learning and development managers have been given a copy of this Investing in People online, and we'll be undergoing a tutorial on how to use the SHRM calculators in the upcoming weeks. So let's take a look at my findings. All right, let's talk absenteeism. Looking at the data from, again, MyHR portal and Employee Central, I learned that learning and development employees were absent 2,160 hours last year. So using the HR analytics calculator from the SHRM website, which, by the way, are completely free to use, I was able to determine that in 2018 alone, absenteeism cost learning and development $435,000. Considering we're a department of 54 people, this averages to over $8,000 per person. So let's take a look at the breakdown of these costs. As you can see, looking at the breakdown of the cost of absenteeism on the screen, the highest costs were due to overtime, paid employee benefits, and the supervisor salaries lost due to managing problems of absenteeism. Supervisors generally spend an hour per employee who's absent on administrative duties to ensure that essentially workshops are covered, projects are taken care of, and the absence has been communicated to all pertinent parties. Overtime for the year was $225,000, which was more than half of the cost of the total estimated cost of employee absenteeism. Now, I do want to just give you a caveat. Specifically in terms of this dollar amount, $225 for overtime, this figure only includes overtime that's due to absenteeism, not overtime that was due to special all-hands projects such as the Follow the Leader boot camp. So I always say knowledge is power, right? So I'm giving you some knowledge, and your heart might be pumping a little bit right now. So let's take a look at another one of learning and development areas of opportunity: employee turnover. So excuse the pun here, but I thought a little levity was needed before we dive into the nitty-gritty of employee separation. So here you have, if you can recall, in 2018, Learning and Development had its share of employee separations with employees leaving the department for job family promotions or just leaving the organization entirely. Last year, we had 11 employee separations. So this is essentially 20% of our L&D workforce. There's a lot of math involved in calculating the cost of employee separations. But by looking at the data that we have on hand from the MyHR portal and plugging it into the SHRM calculator online, I don't need to bore you with the extensively long math details of each step. let's just look at specifically some of the elements of data that are involved. So we looked at the exit interview, which would be, the interviewer's time, the number of turnovers in 2018, the average salary of the interviewer. And then we see this listed as separations cost, that's $7,165 spent, right? Again, these numbers only for L&D, not the entire HR department, and certainly not the organization. So next we look at the cost of replacement, which is $15,460, and of course training, $32,000, right? Now, I will say with training, I only included the new employee orientation training in 1 week of OTJ training. So if an employee needed a little bit more than that, those figures were not counted in. So it was more of an average. But finally, we're going to look at performance costs of $47,000. And together we arrived at that grand total of $101,541 spent on separations in 2018. So I bet you're probably wondering, okay, Desiree, what does this all mean? And how can we decrease these numbers and this cost? We have many other programs that we could use this money for, right? Well, I'm so glad you're thinking like that. I have a couple of recommendations that I'd like to share with you. If you recall, we had our HR town hall last week, and in that town hall, we learned that 55% of all new potential recruits turn down the employment offer simply because of the inability to work from home. I propose that if we provide all employees in learning and development with the option to work remotely, we will see an increase in qualified new candidates and a decrease in the amount of employee absenteeism and employee separations, specifically in regards to the hours and costs spent recruiting. So this may mean providing the remote token access or laptops and work laptops for all employees. In addition to teleworking, there is a need to provide flexible scheduling. By allowing employees to work when it makes sense for them, we will decrease absenteeism. So for example, if your babysitter only works Monday through Thursday and there are no other options for childcare, the employee could select to work 4 10-hour days, Monday through Thursday, right? This will eliminate the need to call in sick for childcare. By combining the flexible scheduling with remote working options, employees who would normally have to be absent for, say, last-minute home repairs or a visit from the cable repair professional can thus work from home, which would thus allow them to be present at home, but also available at work. According to the Association for Talent Development, research has shown that telecommuting will actually boost productivity because home-based workers have lower absentee rates, are more likely to continue to work when they're sick, and report lower levels of stress. Additionally, ATD reports that having a virtual work arrangement is a powerful retention and recruitment tool, as 80% of Americans say they would work from home if presented with the opportunity. Another element of flex scheduling that we have not explored as a department is the 980 schedule. With the 980 schedule approach, employees essentially work 80 hours in 9 days and then have that one extra day off every other week. So according to SHRM, flexible work arrangements can improve recruitment and retention efforts, augment organizational diversity efforts, encourage ethical behavior, and help the organization's efforts to be socially responsible. Employers can experience cost savings, improved attendance and productivity, and an increase in employee engagement. So you're probably thinking, all right, show me the money, Desiree. So without further ado, let's look at the savings cost, right? So according to Global Workplace Analytics, businesses would save an average of $11,000 per half-time telecommuter per year, so half-time. The telecommuters themselves would save between $2,000 and $7,000 depending on their commute and a few other factors. If the average cost of absenteeism per employee is $8,000, implementing telecommuting on a part-time basis alone would save the department $3,000 per employee. If no changes are made to absenteeism, however, I propose that implementing telecommuting, flexible time, and compressed scheduling will decrease by 33%. This is going to yield a savings to L&D of $177,196. I know, right? What questions do you have? All right, I thank you for your time. And of course, here are my references. Have a great rest of your day.